Hello, hello, and welcome. This is Tim Tapp, broadcasting live from scenic, historic Roane County, Tennessee, where today we are once again tapping into the truth. Or at least that's what I like to think of it when we sit here and have these little conversations where I'm listening and you're talking. Only that's not really what we do, is it? At any rate, I am working on improving the show so that at some point in the near future, some of you will be able to call in live. But until we get that taken care of, let's just keep things going the way we have been, and that is with me talking to you, you listening, and hopefully enjoying. But if not, leave a message. We'll see what we can do about improving things. First of all, this is the first broadcast of 2013, so everybody who's made it through to this point, welcome to the brand new year. I hope everybody's had a very good start. Hope there aren't too many hangovers out there, and that we are able to spend time with the people that we care about the most. One of the things that I really do want to focus on in the upcoming year is the fact that as badly as things seem to be moving with our government, with life in general sometimes, we've really got to take the time to focus on the people around us. We have family and friends that are there to help support us and who need our support. And we need to try and be there for as many people as we can, simply because as bad as things may be for us when we're facing our daily trials, there are people around us who are facing far worse. So as long as we can keep that in mind, we can feel a little bit better about our own situation. And if we try to work to improve the situations of other people, lots of times we'll find our own situations tend to take care of themselves. Well, so much for the touchy-feely, tree-hugging hippie crap moment for the day. Let's move into the show. Today we're going to start out with the story that I really I wanted to ignore based on the fact that it was nothing but a publicity stunt, but a lot of people are talking about it, and so we'll mention it briefly. Basically, what I'm talking about is CNN's New Year's coverage from Monday night into this morning. Yes, that's right, the infamous Kathy Griffin, Anderson Cooper moments. First of all, Kathy Griffith is a self-proclaimed C-list celebrity. She's had her moment in the sun. She has had her time, and I have actually found her humorous in the past, although I don't know what's happened to her in the recent decades, like a lot of other folks out there in the entertainment business seem to have gotten a little more politically spoken and show their true left of center ideologies, and you tend to kind of lose focus on people when they do that kind of thing. But when you're in that position, any press is a good press. What you have is a lady who's desperate to try and generate a buzz about her name so that she can once again be important in the world of entertainment. And every time somebody mentions what she did with the infamous crotch kiss, which supposedly took place, I don't know for sure. I've read some conflicting reports that actually Anderson Cooper stopped her several times while she was trying. I've read reports that said that she did do it. And it's irrelevant. Thank goodness Anderson Cooper at least tried to stop her, as far as that goes. But I didn't watch it. I don't watch a lot of CNN. They lost my viewership a long time ago when their ship started sailing really far over to the left. Occasionally, someone else will be in the house and will be watching television, and the remote might stop there for a few minutes. And I tend to irritate the people that are watching it when I can easily predict what guests on specific shows are going to say and what points are going to be made, and can almost tell them exactly what the talking points are going to be. And that's because if you're paying attention, the playbook hasn't changed for the people on the left, ladies and gentlemen. The playbook is the same as it has been for decades now. The only thing different is a lot of folks are being a little more obvious about their wonderful feelings of gratitude towards Saul Lewinsky for having made a much easier to follow playbook, that being the Rules for Radicals. Now, since this is just an attempt to get attention and to get people talking about it, that's why I didn't really want to bring it up. But for the folks that are going to be morally outraged and I can't believe they'd let this go on, well, let's keep in mind what you were watching when this happened. If you're watching CNN for New Year's Eve coverage in the first place, what is wrong with you? CNN is not the place to watch anything that if you want to celebrate, unless you're an ultra-lefty and you're celebrating election returns and a bogus election. If you're trying to celebrate moving into a new year, you should be watching one of the real shows that's on one of the main networks, because there's music, there's comedy, there's fun, there's whatever. Granted, from what I heard this year, I didn't watch too much of the stuff. I was actually watching movies I had rented from the Redbox. Probably shouldn't mention their name directly since they're not paying me any advertising revenues, but hey, I like Redbox. Me and the family were watching movies until we got over, and the main reason we stay up on New Year's Eve is because my wife's birthday is the first, and I like being able to wish her a happy birthday as soon as the clock ticks over. At any rate, back to my point, CNN was very much aware that Kathy Griffin would be doing something outrageous because they've had her there before. Some of her past New Year's Eve antics have included taking her shirt off, dropping F-bombs, shouting at hecklers. And this year, she dropped to her knees and went straight for Anderson Cooper's crotch. Anderson, who just this past year happened to have come out of the closet as being gay. I don't know what kind of point Kathy was trying to make with that. But, yeah, again, this is just a desperate attempt at publicity. So the more we talk about it, whether we're outraged or if, heaven help us, somebody out there thinks it was actually funny or cool or whatever, regardless, all we're doing is encouraging her to behave even worse next time. But if you are outraged by it, again, why are you watching CNN in the first place? They knew she was going to do something, and I almost tend to think that they probably knew exactly what she was planning. Anyway, let's put that where it belongs, in the past. Let's move on. What I want to discuss briefly right now is an issue that we've been touching on quite a bit since the show's really started, because it seems like the biggest issue that we're really facing, other than our budgetary crisis, is the attempt to disarm American citizens. Dianne Feinstein went so far as to tweet out the other day, quote, "If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every gun that Mr. and Miss America has, turn them all in." What's that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That means Miss Dianne Feinstein, one of the Democratic leaders, is voicing what a lot of lefties firmly believe, and that is the American people should be defenseless before criminals. Put all of your faith in the police. Now, I'm definitely not anti-police, not by any means. They have a very tough job, a very dangerous job. Most of them are very well trained, and most of them do an excellent job. Even the ones that are being a bit of a pain when we've crossed the line ourselves, i.e. traffic tickets or whatever infractions we may have, hopefully just in a minor version, have our encounters with them. These folks are just doing a job. It's not an easy job. They're not particularly well paid. And while there are, of course, bad apples, that could be said in almost any profession, most police officers have integrity and have the best interest of the people in mind. So I'm not discounting the police, but what I am telling you is, how often are the police going to be in a position to protect you from an armed criminal that is intent on doing you bodily harm. They're going to be there in time to put up some tape and call in the CSI team, because you're going to be, well, an unfortunate statistic. We'll leave it at that. Paint your own picture. Senator Dianne Feinstein's ultimate plan has always been to have Mr. and Miss America turn in their guns to the government, period. Feinstein has admitted that her new bill that she's about to introduce is about gun confiscation, not about control. She wants to pick them up. She said so. She tells us that a gun ban is about saving the children and reducing crime. But her comments on 60 Minutes back in 1995, for those of you who can remember that point in time, reveal her true plan is to disarm the American people. On Thursday is when she's scheduled to introduce her dream bill to disarm the American people. The legislation is open-ended, and it includes provisions for re-registering firearms and forcing Americans to submit their fingerprints for no other reason than the fact that they own guns. There is an open-ended list of firearms that do not meet the criteria of assault weapons that are included in the ban. And you have a plethora of misinformation that's being sent out there as this media blitz of false propaganda to try and gin up more support for this bill continues. This is an indulgence to the left that we cannot permit. This will not make anyone safer. It will not reduce crime. It will not help anybody except for the criminals. These are dangerous times that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, and as we move into the new year, I'm going to try as hard as I can to be as positive as I can, but this is something that I am positive we need to do. We have to stop the left and their agenda to disarm the law-abiding American citizens who simply want to protect themselves from crime. The first thing we need to do in order to protect ourselves from crime is to start voting for conservatives. Key word, conservatives, not just Republicans. It's not an automatic switch. There are plenty of Republicans out there that are nowhere near being conservative. And there are plenty of Republicans out there, part of the establishment Republican crowd, that are actually part of the so-called progressives. A lot of liberal white guilt involved with that. Regardless, we will continue to keep an eye on this as it develops. We'll keep talking about it, and hopefully, if you are one of these people that are a proponent of gun control, maybe I can reach you somehow. I don't know if the real statistics aren't going to help, and if the fact that everywhere you look where guns have taken away, violent crime has increased. These are simple facts that are impossible to miss. If those things haven't affected you, maybe I can find something somewhere. If it comes down to it, how about the fact that the Second Amendment guarantees the rights of gun ownership? It's got to be something. I know a lot of you